p.m., friends. Thank you for joining DeFi-Logic Symposium Sunday, every Sunday at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. DeFi-Logic is the crypto think tank for better decisions. In today's community call, we'll review daily dose reports from the previous week, starting with Bored Ape Yacht Club for NiFTy Tuesday, BAYC and Apecoin for MMA Monday, WWF Wednesday, and Token Audit Thursday, the landscape of CBD fees for FA Friday, and finally S&P and DXY for stock and legacy market Saturday. And I'll bring up the Ambrosia. Okay, yeah. I'll hand it over to you for covering the Bored Ape Yacht Club in your NFT write-up.
Sure, thanks, Christine. So, I'm sure a lot of you are aware or have heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club. They have Yuga Labs associated with Bored Ape Yacht Club. It all just started back in 2021. COVID happened end of 2019. People were on lockdown. This, in return, kind of set up this perfect storm of people going to retail investing. All these stimulus checks were happening. And so we kind of got like a mini bull market. And so this created kind of the perfect storm of buku money and a lot of new investors and new money to be made in the scene. So a few of these people that ended up creating Bored Ape Yacht Club were basically what the name entails, bored, millionaires or multimillionaires who, aped into things, as the colloquial term goes. So they were bored at home during lockdowns or towards the end of lockdowns, and they said, hey, let's create an NFT series that gives basically exclusive access to people like us. We want to connect with people. They say your network is your net worth. So they did it, and they kind of rode the perfect, cultural zeitgeist at the moment, at the time. And they really, in a lot of respects, got lucky, but also had the millions of dollars to back up, their motivations to do these things too. It kind of is like an American dream story. These people can become millionaires, and then they create an NFT series that becomes a multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar market cap. So, and gets worldwide recognition, but they had that small investment of millions of dollars. So they started off with the 10,000 Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, Bored Apes, PFPs basically, and so they then, after that, created a free mint. It's on the Ethereum network, and they created a free mint of the kennels, these little dogs that can go with each of the Bored Apes. Each person that was a holder of a Bored Ape was able to claim one for free, albeit, like we were just talking about, they had to pay for gas. So I'm guessing that was, at the time, probably like $2,000 just to claim one of those, $400 minimum maybe. But so they ended up getting these kennel things, and they sent a lot of the proceeds to different wildlife funds, like to help the apes, charities, nonprofits, orangutans, and also dogs, dog charities. So they do some good work with what they've done, and they are collecting royalties with a lot of these. And so with these NFTs, they turned them off for a little bit with the Kennel Club, and then they just turned on the 2.5% royalty fee because they, in their quotes, they wanted to create more cool shit. So their purpose is really, I don't think it's just purely money driven. They want to keep bringing value back to their investors. So there's really no utility for it. Not anything that I could find. I mean, I know it's always different to be in the projects themselves, but there's no white paper. So I'm not sure if they're actually able to stake their NFTs to get Apecoin in return. And that's one of the things that we're talking about. Apecoin, we're covering that. So it's basically the governance token for their system. So I have found that they get distributions of Apecoin though. So, all in all, it's a solid project. It's not going anywhere. Everything's very much down now. So you're seeing a lot of people selling their NFTs now. Sometimes people just want to be out of projects. They had their fun, and they just want to sell and move on to the next. But right now, I think you can get what they had released also was a secondary thing. They created these serums, and you could get a serum and apply that to your Bored Ape and then create a mutant ape. And you could have a mutant 1, a 2, and I think a 3. And people weren't sure, which one you would get. It was all randomly generated. But yeah, so they created that as an entry point for a secondary entry point for more retail investors, lower cost entry point. Even though now I think I was looking at prices, you can get a Bored Ape for like $60,000, which, who knows if they'll get back up to where they were before, but it's holding a piece of history that's really cheap, as they were going for millions and millions of dollars just a few short months ago in the macroscopic look of things. So $60K, really not too bad, honestly. And there's some pretty cool looking ones too. On the floor there. So you can also get a mutant ape, which they're running about $3K, $2K for a really inexpensive one. I'm not sure what the price on the pups are. But yeah, I mean, the artwork, it's not the worst I've seen. Honestly, it's pretty good artwork. There's a lot of other collections. I'm sure you guys know that some of these NFTs, it's like, really, this is the art that we're getting? Like this is high school art, but it's really not too bad. And again, it doesn't have to make sense, okay? Never forget Harambe. It's a movement. Aping, don't think, just do. So a lot of these people there, it's clout, it's status symbol. And if you own a Bored Ape, then you get access to networks and connections and people who are multimillionaires or even billionaires. And in the beginning, I was seeing stuff on Instagram. I was like, it was literally just like a yacht club. And then it transformed to, hey, like Snoop Dogg's buying this. And, there's all these people celebrities that own these NFTs. So they do get distributions. They also get royalties from the products. And one thing that's interesting too, so Bored Ape Yacht Club, you see these apes everywhere. They've created merchandise. And so all the holders get portions of the merchandise too. And I think they give distributions in Apecoin to their holders. So that's pretty cool. We're starting to see some branding as a service products. So it's not so much like the one thing, it's the brand of the thing that is becoming kind of big. We saw that with another project called Serum. They're trying to launch and do something similar. But also each holder of a Bored Ape, they have the rights to use their Bored Ape for whatever they want. They can launch a merchandise line if they want, or do whatever with that unique NFT. So you don't see that in a lot of projects. So they've done some really cool things. They've executed well. Their code and their contracts for the actual NFTs with the burning, the mutations of serums, that was the first project to really even do anything like that. So, now that's kind of become the standard of projects. You saw checks. That became huge. It's kind of like nothing now. It was more like for the culture, but they had this interesting burn system. And through that, you can really expand on a project, create even more lore with things. It kind of goes along with upgradability, even though you were kind of just mutating your ape into a more messed up version of it. But, for a while, the most jacked up looking NFT ended up being the coolest one. So they eventually bloomed this into games and arcades. They released one that was kind of a sewer arcade. It was a really well done game, honestly. And I think you can earn Apecoin through that. And they built Yuga Labs, which created CryptoPunks. And I think those are still actually probably holding their value better than Bored Apes. But needless to say, if you like Bored Ape or if you hate Bored Ape, they really are doing what they do well, and they've set a precedent and a standard for NFTs and have really given a lot of recognition and legitimacy to NFTs. You can say, oh, that's some stupid artwork and scoff at it, but then it's like, no, like if you really kind of take some of these projects seriously and, as not just, oh, I'm holding this for clout, then you have access to connections and it's more than just the art. So this project gives you a digital key to the growth of a company, fractionalized ownership through soul-bound NFTs. So pretty cool stuff. But wait, there's more. Yeah. So much
Right.
more with this project. That was just like a shot off the bow. There's just so much Yuga Labs.
It was a good intro, dude, because I'm going to build on this hard.
Okay, good. Yeah, please do.
This was a for real. So I got the receipts here for a lot of the stuff he's saying. I think the only thing I wanted to correct, and I think they bought CryptoPunks and Meebits, right? I don't think they started those projects. I think they bought those, as far as I remember.
Okay.
So there's a lot to unpack with Bored Ape Yacht Club, and frankly, I don't know why NFT projects they don't take this model and run with it. They really don't, and it's been a couple of years, over a couple of years now that they've since they launched. And the big thing people have to understand is from in the business sense, right? Bored Apes Yacht Club is doing it right? Like they have what they did is they created a base layer, right, for culture, okay, and then they allowed that culture to evolve into real world partnerships, and not just partnerships, because that can be a massive and is a massive meme in crypto, right? Where it's like we're partner with this one and that one. Okay, well, what does a partnership do though, right? What happens is the Bored Apes Yacht Club culture, right, that's so viral, it permeates other aspects of just regular life, including like an actual burger joint, Bored and Hungry, where they're able to use the intellectual property because they own the Bored Ape. You know what I mean? That's what it did. And so what happens is right, like you have a small, oh yeah, that's right, Sloth's been to Bored and Hungry. So like,
it's good.
He said it was good, but it's damn expensive.
Yeah, better be.
Here's the thing, right? Like, no matter how genius you are, okay, as a team or a project, whatever, like people, if you allow people, like, you don't try to like control everything, because that's just like the natural human ego wants to control and be like, this is my vision. No. What they did is they're like, this is our vision. Now you take it and you run with it. And they created real world products, real world services based on Apecoin. They're doing good things. Like, I'm sure somebody's going to get into in a minute with like, the massive donation that is unlocked over time to the Jane Goodall Foundation. That's also a meme, right. But they're doing good stuff. It's not just all for the money. I mean, obviously part of it is. But the thing that's really interesting about Bored Apes Yacht Club, and there's many reasons. There's the good side, and I'm also going to get into the darker side, right? And I think I kind of pick up why they did it. But they have the whole shebang, to say it. I mean, that's the only way I can say it, right? Like all they did is they created the base layer. Like, we're not going to control this. We're going to make this fun. You know what I mean? Like, there was ways that you could get airdrops or unlock things for like airdrops in terms of like other NFTs and things. If you like, they gamified that. It wasn't just like, oh, because you do this, you bought this thing, now you get this. No. They like gamified it and made you work for it through like storytelling and stuff like that on their website, right?
Right.
And then obviously from there, it's like, okay, they have to put the work in. So you're forcing people to immerse in the culture that you've created, right? And that not only you've created, but the community has created. Then you have like that aspect to it. And you have the element of like, okay, we're going to make a metaverse. But these are things we're doing. We want the community to move. I was just saying the metaverse, and Kyle's talking about it. But we want you to take it and run with it and see what you can do with your imagination. So then it's like, everybody likes that, right? Like, oh shit, I can own the rights to this, something that obviously already has some value, and I can build on top of it. And it's not competition. It's actually just expanding the brand awareness in multiple different ways. That's the most genius thing that they did out of this. And I don't know why other NFT projects aren't doing it. And again, like the whole gamification aspect of like, yeah, you can, you might be able to unlock some things, or like, but you have to figure out the riddle and the puzzles, because they were riddles and puzzles, right? So yeah, and I mean, you have like, they like back in 2021, Adidas, this is their tweet, you know what I mean? New profile pic. So it's like the entire culture, the whole world, even people that weren't in NFTs. Yeah, it was like, the bull run, and it was like, a lot of people got dumped on, and like a lot of these people probably not hyping up NFTs anymore, but still, it's a nice entry point to get the real world to meet with Web3 and NFT space and, you know, everything that's happening in crypto. So this is a really good use case. I hope NFT projects, you know, take that fundamental component and they start to understand that. But yeah, I mean, it's I have some other stuff to show here, but you know, they have like Bored Ape Yacht Club on Christie's, and obviously the CryptoPunks, which they own now. And they've, you know, they're not just posted there. It's a thing that, you know, like high level, every level of society likes it, right? Low level society, high level society, it permeated everything. And I think, and this is the dark side, I think a big component of it, where I dropped this in the server, the Bored Ape Nazi Club, but I definitely think, I mean, watch this and take some of it with a grain, take it with a grain of salt, I would say. Because I do notice that there are some elements that cross over, and there definitely is some like Nazi, I don't know how to say it, like symbolism and stuff like that that's implemented into the project. But I suspect from this video and other research that I've done, I suspect that they understand that marketing in the side that a lot of people don't want to do, and that's create controversy, right? So even if they're not, you know, like Nazis themselves, which is unlikely because, you know, most of it's a multi-ethnic team, you know what I mean? But even if they're not Nazis themselves, I think they understand, especially at the time that they launched with like, you know, all the Trumpism stuff and everybody getting called a Nazi here, there, and there, they're like, well, fuck it. If we can make something, you know, like infused into the project to create, you know, some, hey, is it actually neo-Nazi? Is it not? It's going to bring even more attention and controversy, and people are going to talk about it even more. And I mean, I saw that in marketing classes that I've taken, right, where it's like some companies will do things that seem really, we could say bad, right? But if we're talking about it, now we're exactly distribution by proxy, right? Like it's like people that wouldn't be engaged in it are now talking about it, right? So that is it's not necessarily good or bad. And the professor that I had in that class, he's like this like super nice like Christian dude and everything. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know, consider it. It's a fact. It does work. It's like, you know, depending on your ethics and things like that, you might not want to do it, but you know, you can't say that it doesn't work type thing. So yeah, I think there's elements of that, but you know, like a perfect thing is like he's saying that like, and I've heard it other places like, oh, because they're monkeys, it's saying like it's akin to like, you know, a racial stuff or whatever. It's like, bro, like the Return to Monkey meme came out in like 2019, 2 years prior, and like, you know what I mean. And apes is the thing that came out during the or I think it permeated the culture even more outside of crypto with like ME and AMC, you know what I mean, during the meme stock era. So like, you know, like again, you got to take these things with a grain of salt. I'm probably going to do an assessment video on this guy's assessment. And one thing that he talks about that's interesting is he talks about this guy, which is hilarious actually, because this guy, Ryder Rips, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he got sued and he lost this year actually, back in April, I think. Yeah, April 24th. He got sued, and so not just on you know, a lot of these things with Bored Ape Yacht Club, there's like multiple layers to it. So the first thing is that it's funny on the level of controversy because this guy, this artist, Ryder Rips, he's like, oh, I'm gonna make my own Bored Ape Yacht Club because I'm gonna try to like remove the racist elements and this, that, and the other, and you know, take a stand while he's making millions of dollars. And it's like, is that really why you did it, or is that what you're just trying, like going under the guise of doing, right? But the outcome of the case is that the court agreed that with Bored Ape Yacht Club, and it actually solidifies in the legal sense in federal court. The U.S. District Judge rejected the First Amendment argument on Friday, finding his NFTs do not express an idea or point of view, but instead merely point to the same original digital images associated with the BAYC collection. No more artistic than the sale of a counterfeit handbag. So now in court, federal court, right? Everything, bro, you own it. You own it. Everybody thought that was a meme. Well, I could just steal it. No, you can't. You can't steal it and sell it because it's akin, in the judge's language, no more artistic than the sale of a counterfeit handbag. Same shit. That's how the judge saw it, right? And he presented like, oh, it's racist, so I'm trying to like meme it or whatever. But I mean, they look like shit in my opinion. You know what I mean? And he like it's obviously he didn't put too much creativity into it. He just copy pasted and changed a few things, and then he's like trying to promote it as something that it's really not. So I mean, it's funny in the controversy sense, but it's great in the legal sense for NFTs as a whole, because the U.S. courts, federal courts, they upheld that you know, the meme is true. You do actually own it, and people can't just copy your shit. You know?
Yeah, if you know, it's something interesting to say too, because you know, there's a whole meme like, oh, I can just take a screenshot and then it's mine. It's like, yeah, well, I mean, you could, but you know, there's all these smart contracts behind it too, and you know, you can't get into the Discord or the this or the groups or the parties or the, you know, so
Yeah.
superficially you could own it, but no, I mean, people don't realize that there's a lot more work that is actually going into these NFTs. It's not just like posting a picture on Facebook. You
Yep.
know, it's
100%.
really integrated smart contracts and coding, and to do it well, NFTs is like kind of doing I guess like chemical synthesis, you know, with coding. So there's some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that was great, man.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have. I know that they have, so this is like a know when you're on a genuine Yuga website or site, because they had a lot of problems. Obviously, I mean, we all know, right, that we've been in crypto for a while, but like we all know that, you know, it's like a meme that these guys, I can't find the tweet right now, but some guy had to sell off. There was a massive sell off of their Ape NFTs recently because some guy got rugged on some other project. He put up like, what did he say, like 200 ETH or something like that, and he got rugged. It was basically a trust me bro meme from what I remember. He's like, yeah, like I trusted the guy and he rugged me and now I have to sell my NFT. I mean, it sucks, you know, like I'm not, you know, hating on the guy, but you know, at the same time, you know, I feel like the guys that have been in crypto for a while and gals, like we know, like you don't just invest something like a trust me bro meme. That's exactly how you get rugged. So even at that high level, it shows you that like you can make it in crypto if you're smart, for one, and two, you know, it shows you that there's people that are not, that are in, to me, what it's at least somewhat of a signal that people that are not of a good investment mindset, but they have a decent net worth to get into crypto, they, like Bored Apes brought them in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was another meme for a while. There's the trust me bro thing, but then also like, you know, we were seeing so many of these Bored Ape Yacht Club holders just getting rugged left and right because they didn't know they were accepting these offers from like fake accounts or like going on to web pages and not realizing like they're giving access, they're like private keys and stuff. They didn't understand the technology, and so it's hopefully they're learning, and you know, that's what
hopefully.
will do. It'll learn you. So
100%. And we've all gotten rugged, so you know.
Yeah. That's why we built DeFi-Logic.
Exactly right, dude. Exactly. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The overview. And yeah, if you want to read up a little bit more, we have a whole bunch in the server on the week of Bored Apes Yacht Club and Ape Token.
Wonderful.
Perfect. I do know, I mean, whether you love them or loathe them, owning a piece of this artwork is a ticket to a thriving community. And I know we did also cover Yuga Labs, the Apecoin, and the Apecoin DAO. So I don't know if we want to move into that now. We can bring up Trill and Sloth if you guys want to discuss maybe some highlighted points that you found in your research for that.
All right, so here we see the Nansen dashboard for Apecoin. So we can see the current price of Ape at 194, and then can see the change over time. So looking just 30-day outlook, it's been pretty flat as far as the token price. Kind of a random spike in volume middle of the month. And then 6 months out, see pretty drastic decline. And then same with the yearly chart. But yeah, so the last month or so, it's been pretty flat, as G-Force had alluded to in the TA Saturday call. So it just kind of basically primed for a pump in the TA sense. And then here we can see the liquidity pairs on Uniswap, with the biggest pool being the Uniswap V3 Ape and Rapid ETH pool, with the TVL of 2.3 million, which doesn't really seem that much in the grand scheme of things, just because, you know, Uniswap is pretty small in comparison to the amount of tokens traded on the centralized exchanges, as we can see here with Coinbase at 175 million tokens. So it's got about, you know, 70% of the total circulating supply that's on exchanges trading solely on Coinbase, and Uniswap's here at number 9 with only a little over 1 million tokens total. So it's pretty heavily sex traded at the moment. And then we just see an overview of some of the DEX trades. So it's still got some pretty good volume for trading. And some of the top transactions, majority of them are just the exchange wallets trading back and forth. And we looked at some of the whale wallet transactions, and I noticed there was a pretty good trend of people buying larger amounts on Coinbase and then transferring to self custody wallets in the last few weeks. So that could be a good sign. People are buying and holding, perhaps. And then looking at some of the staking data here, we can see, so they have 4 different staking pools. So the first one is solely for the Ape token. So you can go ahead, stake your Ape tokens for 20% APR. You got over 86 million tokens staked at the moment. And then the last 3 pools are specifically for those who own the BAYC or the Bored Ape Kennel Club NFTs. So they'd be staking their NFTs for an allocation and APR, which you can see is higher. And then if we look at the token lockups for the Apecoin, so 62% of the total tokens was allocated for the ecosystem fund. So that went to the holders and then also for the treasury. So 117 million were unlocked at launch, and then there's another 7.3 million that are being unlocked every month for 48 months. And then for the Yuga Lab and Charity, so they have an initial lockup for 12 months, and then 4.1 million are being unlocked per month for 36 months. And then for the Jane Goodall Foundation, there's an initial lockup of 12 months, and then 277,000 being unlocked per month for 36 months. And then for the Yuga Lab founders, they have initial lockup for 12 months of 80,000, and then 2.2 being unlocked per month. And then so the next scheduled unlock for the tokens is actually happening in about 17 days on August 16th. About 4.2% of the circulating supply, or about 15.68 coins in total, will be unlocked on this day. And the last unlock of Ape is scheduled for mid-March of 2026. So it's pretty steady token unlock schedule. And yeah, I think that's about all I have for that. If Trill wants to go ahead and talk about the token side of things.
Yeah, it's crazy amounts to talk about, but there's a little bit to talk about. And as far as like the structure, of how they or why they built the token, they built the token to decentralize the community as far as the Bored Ape Yacht Club community, and kind of like expand and bring it into the real world. It's realized via the Apecoin DAO. I guess I'll share my screen. It'll mostly be on the same page that Sloth was on, but yeah, they have a Apecoin DAO that makes proposals and things like that as far as the future of the coin. But the interesting part about the DAO is that there is a set of, well, I guess the thing that now there's a foundation, and that foundation, in the foundation, there's a special council called the board, which is made up 5 people with a rolling 6-month period. The purpose of this board is basically to give the DAO a legal representation, just a physical representation within the real world, because a DAO can rent out a venue or sign a lease contract or anything like that. So the purpose of this board is to basically, when the DAO makes a proposal or vote, anything that may require legal standing, the board is the one that will carry out the actions that the DAO votes on. And like I said, this is a 6-month rolling period. It changes based off the vote coming from the DAO, and you can also be kicked off the board early if people from the DAO choose to. So just because you're on the board, I mean, you're locked in for 6 months. If the people see that there's, someone else that can carry out those proposals better, then you will be replaced. They also do state kind of the separation of duties. Like I like that they did state, the Yuga Labs doesn't have any inherent control over this foundation either or board. So the purpose of Apecoin and Apecoin DAO is to decentralize the yacht club, and like I said, kind of bring them into the real world, like sort of increase scalability. It's not necessarily like scaling out, but increasing their reputation and things like that. It's like Soft kind of stated, there's that unlock, and there will also never be any more Apecoin or burned Apecoin. I believe it's 1 billion total supply. Like I said, that's pretty much all I have about it. Like, it's not an entirely new blockchain. It's kind of just a coin that was made to decentralize a NFT project. And from that coin, they have the DAO, which gives the NFT project the legal representation. Well, not the DAO specifically. The DAO kind of votes, and that board gives the NFT project legal representation the DAO might want to use to represent themselves.
Thank you, Trill. I know this week it was a lot to take on for the analysis to take a look at this project, because they do have so much going on, and they are kind of a cultural phenomenon within this space. So thank you everyone for covering that this week. I know it was a community request, and it was a fun one to kind of take a look at just because of all the aspects of it. And that's it for this week. Remember, as a member of DeFi-Logic, you can review the Daily Dose forum where we publish analysis on various research topics. Also, DeFi-Logic members interested in alpha testing our ETH spot trading indicator and new XRP trading strategy developed by Cryptics. The service is free until we launch. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you at 12 p.m. Mountain Time next week. GN friends. Join us next week in Discord for Symposium Sunday at DeFiLogic.com.